Hi everyone. Can someone confirm that I am audible? Okay, fine. Thanks, Wasim. Okay, welcome you all for the Oracle Data Integrated 12C demo session. So today we'll spend around 20 to 30 minutes to cover about this tool, to talk about this course, and any questions which you may have. Okay. So before we get into ODI, that's Oracle Data Integrator, which I would be referring as ODI 12C. Let's quickly recap what is ETL and why do we need ETL and what are the tools which are available in the market for the ETL, which are the ETL tools. Okay, so uh, it's for the benefit of those who are new to any ETL. ETL stands for extract, transform, and loading. Right? But why should we extract? Why should we transform and why should we load? If you see our day-to-day life, we see so many things every day, right? You walk into a shopping complex where you buy something, you go to a billing counter, and there will be billing which happens. Like us, thousands of customers walk in and they make the purchases. They go to a billing counter and they buy it. If you're working in a big organization, a big company, and there will be uh, the database, the payroll related, accounts related, finance related, so many things which will be available. So that's also a transaction process which happens every day. So uh, volumes of millions of records, thousands of records will get entered into a system. Like that, we can see so many things. If you talk about the supply chain, if you talk about the manufacturing, if you talk about the any vertical or any horizontal, you may see there will be a system which takes the records into it, right? So what are those records? They can tell about your business, right? If you talk about if you see a supermarket, it can speaks volumes about its business. It can reveal the trend. It can tell what is the age group of the uh, uh, people who are going for a particular model of a mobile. It can tell you the trend. It can tell what is the time frame in a year where the car sale is going down, right? But can we directly consume that data? That's probably not possible because you can see so many data there which may not be useful for your analysis. Every record may not be a useful thing for you. That's the place where the ETL comes. So we need we need to extract we need to extract the data from the whole billions of millions of record, and you have to take only those things which make sense for you. Okay, and you have to transform it. You have to work on those records and present it in a way which would make the analysis, make the understanding of the data easy, right? So that is where the ETL comes. So what I mean is, if you have 10 records, you want to pick up only those records which are useful for you. Probably if you are uh, trying to understand the age and the particular models of the mobile, probably you are concentrating on the age of the customer. Probably you don't want those records which don't have a age. Okay, so that is where you do the transformations and load that record into the model which would help you to build the reports. So uh, the person or the people who are responsible to take decision about that business will make the decision. Okay, so that is the need of the ETL. So can anyone tell me like what are those ETL tools which you are aware of? Can you give a try? Yes, data stage, right? Data stage, one of the ETL tool which is available in the market. Any other? Yes, Informatica, data stage, right? So these are the, I mean, Informatica and data staging are the very familiar ETL tools which are available in the market. Like this, ODI or the Oracle Data Integrator is also one of the ETL tool. So it's Oracle's product, and it's one of the most in demand tool these days because of its various features. So let's quickly recap, talk about the features, the primary um, features of this particular tool. So if you talk about any tool which is available in the market, there will be a client server architecture. So there will be a request which comes from the client, which goes to a server. Those those interactions will continuously happening. But whereas ODI is not a client server architecture, there is no Oracle ODI server as such. So it will be RPD, the RPD file repository based tool. It has its own advantages. Okay, and we talk about that more, like how do we set up those repository, what is the meaning of that repository, all those things we discuss in this course. And also if you compare it to a conventional ETL architecture, if you take any mapping, or those who are familiar with any tool already, are so there will be a extract which happens from the source, and there will be transformations which happens, and you have to load into a target. So that is how ideally any ETL tool works. Okay. For those, for the benefit of who are particularly work on data stage or Informatica, you have to do that. You have to mention those transformations and what is the source and what's the where you are loading. So if you are writing this code for the 10 modules, you have to repeat this in all 10. Okay, but whereas ODI, it has a different model altogether. It is called as the ELT tool rather ETL. So when you say ETL, we have to extract, we have to transform and load. But here it will get extracted, get loaded, and transformed. When I say extracted and loaded, where it gets loaded. So there will be a temporary work area where it will get loaded, um, which is called as a staging area, the work tables or staging tables, which we are going to discuss in this course in detail. Okay, so this is the primary difference between any conventional tool and ODA. So one is a ETL tool, other is a ELT tool. But so even it is for us, for the developers to understand that concept. But internally, I mean, internally it works like this, but generally we refer it as ETL tool. So because ETL is a term which is very familiar, so we generally refer it as ETL tool, but internally we should know that the concept behind this particular tool is ELT. Okay, so that we understand as we work more on this tool, understand it. It clearly shows that how the concept of ELT is implemented here. And the other primary difference we have to talk here is the design pattern, the data flow pattern of this particular tool. Uh, we talk about any conventional ETL design. We have to define the transformations. We have to tell what should be the sorting. What should be the strategy, update strategy. All those things we have to define clearly. But here we have something called templates, which are readily available. So we need not tell the tool how to do it. Okay, we need not tell the tool how to do something, but we have to tell what to do. So it will take care of it. That means if you want to do a incremental update, you need not tell, okay, you have to do like this. You check the record already exists. All those things you need not tell the tool. But there will be a template which is readily available for this particular one. Okay, incremental update, which is called as the knowledge modules. These templates which are readily available are called as the knowledge modules. There are there are 6 groups of the knowledge module, which are called as RKM, JKM, LKM, CKM, IKM, and SKM. So these are the 6 categories, and in each category there are a couple of KMs which are available. Okay, probably we discuss more about the each group, each knowledge module, and understand which one to use in what condition. Okay, on what business scenario, on what technical scenario we are going to use this particular kind of KM, and we understand how to understand the KM, how to get into the each step level detail of the knowledge module. What is knowledge module means, and how to is it possible to edit the knowledge module? All those things we discuss in this course. So this is a, a snapshot uh, where and all the ODA fits in the Oracle ecosystem. There is a demand for this particular tool because it is embedded in so many tech stacks. So that's one of the reason why we have huge demand for this particular tool in the market. Okay, so let's quickly get into the architecture of the ODA. ODI has four components. One is the ODI designer, operator, topology manager, and security manager. Designer, as we see, designer is a place where you do the design and development of this particular uh, code, the mappings, interfaces, all those things we design in the ODI designer. Next one is operator. As the name suggests, is operations. I mean, you do the development and monitor it in the operator. So that's the operator. Next one is a topology manager. When I say ETL, there will be extract and there will be load. So there should be source and there should be destination. So the defining the source and destination uh, details will happen in the topology manager. Next one is the security manager. As the name suggests, the security manager is a place where we take care of the privileges, um, permissions, roles, etc., adding, removing users, all those things we do in the security manager. All these things are connected to a repository. So we get into each module, each component, and understand it in the with the examples. So for the way this course is designed is we discuss about some concept and we will try it in the environment. So you'll get a environment which you can set up and try those exercises. For example, if you discuss about how to create a repository, you can literally go and try it in your environment. If you talk about the lookup transformation, you go and use that lookup and try it If you face any issues, debug together, understand the tool, and move on. So that is how this course is designed. Okay, so let's get back to the repository. There are two types of repositories: master and work repositories. Um, Master repository means something which stores couple of things which are common for different work repository, because more than one work repository can be attached to a master repository. Okay, so things which are familiar, the common for all those those work repositories will be stored in the master repository. So this is about the repository. So uh, this is a snapshot of the ODI designer, the ODI page, to get a look and feel. You will get an environment which is similar to this, which you can set up in your machine and try out our exercises. So uh, we have a designer, operator, topology, and security. You can see here. You can see these four components here, and we have projects here. Okay, we have models. Um, Projects is a place where you store your projects. Models are nothing but your uh, data stores. The something which stores your data. It could be a source or target. Okay, and we have these transformations here. You can see expressions, data sets. So we talk about each component, how to use. For example, if you see a join, how to use that join in our mapping. Okay, how to use a split operator. Okay, so I just put this diagram to get the feel. Okay, okay. So whenever we talk about the mapping, okay, whenever we talk about the mapping, what are the um, bare minimum things which will be there in the mapping? So always there will be a source and there will be a target. Okay, and the smallest unit here is called as a mapping. Earlier we used to call it as the interface in the earlier versions of the ODI. Uh, there are changes. From versions to versions there are changes, and ODI 12c come up with some of the changes. This is one of them. We call it as a mapping. Earlier we used to call it as a interface. Those who are working on a migration projects or upgrade projects, so for your benefit, so interfaces will be called as a mappings in ODI 12c. I started on ODI 11g initially, and I have worked on this particular tool from last 10 years. I started with ODI 10G, then moved to the ODI 11G, and now currently I'm working on the ODI 12C. So um, let me start the VM. So meanwhile, if you have any questions, please feel free to message me. No questions? this is the environment which you can set up on your own machine, and you can try it out. We start with the concept. We once we understand architecture, we slowly get into uh, the hands-on part of it. So this course is designed in a way where we do more of a hands-on. Okay, we understand the concept through doing uh, through doing exercises, um, understanding each component, what is the use of it, what is the business scenario, what is the technical scenario, how we can use, what is a split means, what is a filter means, what's aggregate means. Uh, Probably those who come from a SQL background, you may know what does that means. Say when I say join, probably most of us would know what is join, but how to use it in ODA, how to troubleshoot. Those are the things what we are going to discuss here. Okay. So while it is getting loaded, please feel free to ask any questions you may have. Uh, any questions related to anything. Okay, it's taking some time. Okay, let it get loaded. um, this is how we can create a particular mapping. There will be a projects space where you can create packages, mappings, reusable mappings, uh, procedures. So you go to a mapping and right click and say new mapping, and you give the naming and create this mapping. We have a source and target. So here, if you see here, so the ultimate goal of our tool is to read from a source and write into a target. In between, we can do maybe joins or so many transformations we can do in between. Correct? So those things we do in between. We may use filter, we may use split, aggregate, or anything. So uh, we have a concept of automatic mapping. I want to show it in the tool. Yeah, it's coming up. We have a concept of automatic mapping where we can map according to the name or a position. Okay, so if you have a customer ID in the left hand side, in the target also, if you have the same column, it will get linked based on the name or anything we can use. So for example, if you, I was talking about picking up the only those records which are required for us, right? It's a filtering process. So how do we filter it? There's a filter transformation we can use. We can give the filter condition, etc. Let's see. Yeah. So we have this environment, and we have ODI 12C Studio. So that means we get uh, the screen what I was showing to you. Any questions, anyone? So we have this course more of an interactive. Uh, we discuss, we learn together. So that's how this course is designed. So if you have any questions, or people come from various background, people come from with particular uh, goal, right? I want to tool. I want to learn this tool because I have I have a knowledge on this particular tool. So combination of these two tools may work well. So people come up with some background. So I work on a app side, Oracle app side. So having this tool will knowledge of this tool will help me in updating my resume, right? So people come from various background. So you may have questions which are related to your goal or your uh, the reason behind why you choose to learn this tool, right? So if you have any questions on those things, please feel free to ask. Okay, fine. So we were talking about knowledge module. We refer it as a KM. So every KM we have has its own options where you can slightly modify its settings, or you can create a knowledge module from the scratch. There will be very rarest of the rarest cases where we have to write a knowledge module from a scratch. Uh, in my experience with this tool from last 10 years, I never got a chance to write or even modify a knowledge module, because writing a knowledge module is a different skill for which you need a scripting language. But using the knowledge module as a ETL developer, it's easy. Once you get familiar with which knowledge module to pick up from for what situation, it makes your life easy. Okay. Uh, Comparatively, I mean, if you compare with any other ETL tool, any other tool which does the same work as ODA does, it's easy. And you are modifying something is easy, because say if I've used this particular knowledge module in 100 mappings, and you want to modify something, which you want to modify some functionality, you need not get into those 100 mappings. You just change in one place. You just change in one place, it would get reflected in all 100 places, right? So that's the beauty of having knowledge modules. Okay. Um, we, we 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 discuss about those things, like how to use the knowledge modules, what are the options we get, how to how to understand the steps inside the knowledge module, right? So what happens if we select this knowledge module, and we talked about the different categories of the knowledge modules, IKM, RKM, all those things. So which one to pick up in what situation, right? So this is a ODI 12C tool which I launched. So this the exactly same environment you can have it on your on your machine, which you can use for uh, your hands-on. So let's connect. So you can see you have a designer, operator, topology, and security. So these are the four components of uh, the ODI. As the developers, most of the time we'll be using designer and operator, because designer is a place where you have to do the development. So as a ETL developers, it is our the play area, and operator is a place where we we have to monitor those locks or execution. So we'll be using the monitor as well. So benefit of those who come from an Informatica background, uh, operator is same as the workflow monitor. So anyone here who uh, come from any ETL background, who already used any tool? Okay, okay. So any any mapping will have a source and target, and we have a flow in between. That means the knowledge module. The reason we have a knowledge module is we have to tell like what it need to do. Okay, whether you should do the update or a delete or incremental update, what it is. So that those steps will be defined in the knowledge module. Okay, it's I don't know, it's taking more time than I expected to connect. Okay, so this is these are the four components. So we are connected to the tool here. So we have designer, operator, topology, and security. And designer, we have, as we discussed, like we have projects, modules, load plans, etc. So projects is a place where we have to play around. So we can create a project, demo project, test project. So if you create a new demo, we can just create a new project like this. Or if you are using an existing project, we just get into it and create a new mapping. Okay, so if you get into an existing demo project, we can expand. So we have these folder structures. We go in detail later. If I want to create a new mapping, you can create it here. You right click, new mapping. Right, we can give a name and I don't know, for some reason it's little slow today. Okay, so we create a new mapping. We can drag and drop the source and target here, and components, transformation components from this panel. Okay, we bring these tables from here and components from here. So once we are done with the development, we execute it, and operator is the place where we uh, monitor those executions. Okay, let me quickly show that. So here is the operator. You can see all the executions based on the user time, or all executions you can monitor here. uh, any any errors, any failures, any success you can see in the operator. Okay. Once you understand the log, you can see the log. Like if there is a failure, what is the reason it failed, and if it's a successful, and what are the rows it inserted. So you can see this. These are the logs. So we try to understand the each log, how to read it, how to understand it in this course. So we start with the understanding the tool. We start with uh, using the simple mappings, executing them, coming back to the operator, understand it. If there is a failures, debug them. Okay, go back to the basics. So this is how this entire course is designed. Okay, so okay, these are all things I had for today. Any if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. Okay, so any questions, anyone? Okay, so if you don't have any questions, let's wind up for today. Thank you for attending today's demo session. See you again in the regular sessions. Thank you.